So I'm going to talk about four. I'm really trying here. So this is the character for four, so. And when we talk about four, I want to talk about the duograms. So to talk about the duograms, I thought I would talk about this character gua, which you might have come across if you've done any reading on feng shui and stuff like that. And then they talk about the bagua, which means the 8 trigrams. If you haven't heard about this, don't panic. And the gua comes from these 2 different parts. This one we've seen before, and that means that divination crack, divinatory, you know, to do with divination. Do you remember? We had it before. And then actually this, which looks like 2 soils, one on top of each other, it actually means a thing called a gnomon, which is probably pronounced gnomon, but I'm saying gnomon because it's just such an awkward word. And what the hell is a gnomon? It's a sundial stick, and that's why I put this picture here. This is a sundial stick. Actually, you can see here it's got the stems and the branches and all sorts of other stuff that we will talk about when you make it to the 3rd year. So this is a gnomon, a sundial stick. Apparently this character here is originally a sundial stick. Well, why do we care? Because I want to talk about duograms. Okay, so first of all, we've got Tai. This character Tai, it means greater or older. And this character Shao means lesser or younger. And here we have the duograms. So this is Tai Yang, which means 2 yang lines. So you've got Tai and it's got yang. And then here we've got Shao Yang, which is 1 yang line and 1 yin line. So it's growing yang because they come from the bottom up, or lesser yang, not as much yang. And right down here we've got Tai Yin, Tai and Yin, and then here we've got lesser yin, which is growing yin, or descending yang, depending which way you like to look at it. So that's your Tai and your Shao. And then while I was at it, I thought I might put this in. So here we've got, because when we talk about the Tao, then they always talk about Wu Wei and all that kind of stuff. So I thought maybe if we just look at this, this is very much to do with the I Ching. I Ching, or in Wade Giles it was written I Ching. If you don't know what this is, don't worry about it. It's basically about hexagrams, and there are these things called the 10 wings, which were supposedly written by Confucius, and he wrote about the different hexagrams with relation to their trigrams. These are the trigrams here, and these are the duograms here. And these are yin and yang. So here what we have is, it's called, this is the G, which is called the ridgepole, confusingly. Because what's a ridgepole? For those of you who don't know, the ridgepole is the pole at the top of the roof that holds the house up. How does it hold the house up? That doesn't make sense. It's at the top of the roof. It's just put on the top. But what it actually means is something like ultimate or extreme, something like that. The top, the most, the best. It's the same G that you get in Tai Chi Chuan. Tai Chi Chuan. Yeah. And this is what it looks like when it's simplified. I'm not going to go into this. Anyway, so this is Wuji. This is no extreme, no ultimate. And no ultimate leads to Tai Chi, as of Tai Chi Chuan, yeah? Which we see, we call the yin yang symbol, or the fish symbol, or stuff like this. This is the Tai Chi. That's what it's actually called, the Tai Chi. and the Taiji separates into the two. This is the couple, and the couple is yang and yin. And then these two, you can put these two together in 4 different ways, and so you get this and this, which we call duograms, or they're also called the 4 images. That's what Shang means, the 4 images. And then you can add another line. You can add a yang line below, and here's the yang line below. Add a yang line below, or add a yin line below, or add a yin line below, and you get the 8 trigrams. So continuing in the world of 4, because when you talk about, you know, we use the world of 4, the world of duograms, to talk about directions. So this is the 4 directions. Fang means directions, and it also means square, and all that kind of stuff. So, you know, before we were looking at seasons and all sorts of stuff like that, directions, and now we're on the world of the earth. And so here are the 4 directions. This is the south. And this character represents a bell, or a south pointing compass. And this is the north. And this character represents 2 people back to back. So there's one person facing this way, and there's one person facing that way. Back to back. And of course, your backs relate to the north. They relate to the cold, that kind of stuff. And in Chinese, then we have, you know, the creative axis, which here I've done as red, yeah, and it's called the south-north axis, not called the north-south axis, logically enough, because you start with the south, you don't start with the north, do you? And then here we've got the east. This is the simplified character for the east. And the character for the east is interesting because this is a tree. This is a tree. And the way that it's set up is that there is the sun. This is the sun, which is rising through the tree. See, there it is, the sun. That's the sun. Remember, we saw the sun before, didn't we? There it is. So that's the east, and this is the west. And the west is something to do with a basket. It's like a bird in a nest or in a basket. And why the hell would you have that in the west? Because there's an ancient myth about the sun rising in the east, and from the mulberry tree in the east, and the sun, actually there were 10 suns, and this, you know, fiery jobbies, not children, red circular things that rise in the east, and you know, they're sort of like, the sun is like a bird. It's like it's coming from the mulberry tree, which has got red things in it. Mulberry fruit is red. It's rising in the east through the mulberry tree, and then it's going across the sky, and then it's descending in the west. And there's a pool in the west which has got a particular type of tree. I can't remember what kind of tree it is, but that bird, that sun, that bird is descending in the west. So it's going to its nest when the sun is going down, you know, into its basket, something like that. So that's why you've got this kind of bird nest basket type thing. It's a really interesting, it's one of those kind of mythological stories. When we're talking about the east and the west, then we say east to west, Dongxi. And actually in Chinese, east west or Dongxi actually means things. It means things, as of, I'm going to the shop, what are you doing? I'm going to go and buy some things. I'm going to buy some Dongxi. meaning everything that is in our world, everything that is in our created world, everything that is on the created axis. I'm just going to go and buy some random stuff. Here we go, another 4, and here we've got 4 seasons. This character here, this is 4 again, and this is seasons. This is the simplified version of seasons. Look, it's got the sun at the front. And then in the simplified version, well, actually in the complicated version here, it's got, this is soil. And then this is a thumb. This is actually the sun measurement. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So what do we got here? We've got seasons, and let's start in springtime. This is spring. So again, here what we've got is we've got sprouts or plants. So this bit at the top, you can see it really clearly in the ancient form. Those are little sprouts, little plants that are growing up, yeah? But then in the more sort of normal form, it's become this kind of thing here, stuff that's coming out from the earth, from the soil, yeah? And how does it come out from the soil? Because it's got the sun below it. Sun is warming it, and so it's allowing the plants to come out in springtime. And then this is the summer. And in an early version, it used to be something like a human plus the sun. It used to be something like human and the sun below it, or something like that, but I couldn't find a picture of that. So this one is actually something like, this is a head, and then this is somebody dragging their leg. You know, it's like hot, and they're moving very slowly, that kind of idea. It's a bit tenuous, but there you go. And this is autumn. Autumn is a cool one because this is the head of it. This is grain. This is like corn or oats or something. And this bit here is the heavy head of the grain. You know, it's heavy, so it's sideways. It's so full. Yeah, it's kind of like, you know, it's autumn. It's fully formed and it's really heavy, and you need to harvest it. And this is fire. That has allowed it to become fully formed, fully grown. This bit is fire. And here we've got winter, and this bit underneath here, this is like frost or ice, or, you know, something very, very cold. And then apparently this bit on top, it looks like that dragging leg thing that we had before for summer, but actually it's supposed to be pegs on the sundial, ha ha ha, that show you where winter is. I'm not buying into that. It doesn't really make much sense to me, that one. You know, I'm sorry about that. Anyway, and then here I've got 2 more characters, and this is to do with is to do with solstice. It actually means, you know, to the extreme, up to the extreme, up to, you know, going up to the topmost point. And so here you've got summer solstice, whoa, winter solstice, and then this is equinox. It also means dividing, separating, something like that. And you can see that because this bit here is the knife, and this is separating 2 parts, separating. And here we've got spring equinox and autumn equinox. And here's the Schwarzenegger related to the winter, because I must have sort of thought, what the fuck, this is just really confusing. I have no idea why. Talking about the fucking sundial business doesn't make sense. So I had a look at the Schwarzenegger, and it said the 4 seasons are exhausted. That's what happens in winter time. And it says in the old character for winter was this one, which actually means end. This is an old character, and it's pronounced jong rather than dong, but you can see that it's got something there. And then this bit is the same as the winter character on the right hand side, and it meant end rather than, you know, winter is the end of life as we see it, sort of thing, that kind of stuff. So talking about the seasons characteristically have particular characters associated with them. So we have the spring generates, the summer flourishes or grows, the autumn stores or harvests, and the winter stores. So yeah, sorry, the autumn harvests and the winter stores. And then it says, these are the constants of qi, and humans also resonate with them, also follow this, meaning that why am I banging on about duograms and seasons and directions? Because Chinese medicine is all about how we go through the seasonal cycle. And by going through the seasonal cycle, which can happen in terms of a day or a year or a lifetime as well, you know, characteristically, the way that Suen is organized is that Suen 2 talks about yin yang. Suen 3 talks about matters of three. It actually talks about the 3 yin and the 3 yang. Suen 4 talks about the seasons. Suen 5 talks about the seasons plus the center, which makes 5. Do you see what I mean? Suen 6 talks about things to do with 6. So Suen sort of 1 to 9 is actually numerically organized, in case nobody's ever told you, because I don't think people do tell you, but it's quite useful to know. But anyway, this is Suen 2, and it says, now, as for the yin yang of the 4 seasons, they are the root and foundation of the 10,000 beings, the myriad beings. Okay, hence, then, you know, hence, the sage person, the one who's like the one who knows what he's supposed to do, what does he do? In spring and summer, he nourishes yang, and in autumn and winter, he nourishes yin. And in this way, he follows the roots, meaning following the seasons. Hence, together with the 10,000 beings, they sink and float. I love this thing. Between the gates, this is the men of Ming Men, in case you're wondering. The gates, this is a gate, looks like a gate, of living and dying, life and death. So this whole idea about springing up and descending in this constant cycle of the seasons between life and death, where you flourish and then you gather yourself and you store yourself and then you come back up again and so on. So pretty fundamental stuff. And here's another one from Suen 2. Obviously, I got obsessed with it. Hence, yin yang and the 4 seasons, they constitute the beginning and end. Look, there's that end character that was used to be used for winter. The beginning and end of the 10,000 beings. And they are the basis of life and death. Surprise, that's why we're rabbiting on about yin and yang, because we're in Suen 2. Opposing them, going against them, brings terrible things, catastrophe, and harms life. But following them, going with them, results in severe diseases not arising. That's called health. You know, they love their double negatives here. Yeah, so if you follow them, you stay healthy. This is called to obtain the way. And here we're using the Tao in that, you know, sort of Tao-y sort of way.